So even Warren Buffett says the vast majority of people should index, and I agree with him. So are there any questions, or do I have any time? Then again, Warren Buffett doesn't index, and neither do I. So I thought I'd tell you why. And then maybe you'll have some more information to decide for yourself what makes sense for you. And in a sense, it shouldn't be that hard. I had a friend who's an orthopedic surgeon and is in charge of a group of orthopedic surgeons. And he asked me to speak to them at a dinner about the stock market. And I said, okay, these are smart, educated guys. They can understand this stuff. And I spoke for about 35 minutes explaining how the stock market worked and everything else. And then I started getting questions along the lines of, oil went down $2 yesterday, what should I do? Or market was up 2% yesterday, what do I do about that? So my interpretation of those questions was I had just crashed and burned. So last year, I was lucky enough to be asked to teach a 9th grade class, a bunch of kids, mostly from Harlem. And I had just sort of crashed and burned with the orthopedic surgeons, and I didn't want to do that with the kids. And so I started to try to think of what could I do to explain the stock market a little bit better. And so I walked into class the first day, and I handed out a bunch of 3x5 cards. And I brought in this jar of jelly beans right here. And I asked the students, passed around the jar of jelly beans, asked them to count the rows, do whatever they wanted to do, and write down their best guess for how many jelly beans were in the jar. Collected the 3x5 cards. Then I went around the room one by one to each one of the kids in the room. And I said, listen, you can keep your guess, you can change your guess, that's up to you. And I went one by one around the room, asked people how many, and wrote down the various guesses. So it turned out the average of the guesses for the 3x5 cards was 1,771 jelly beans. There are 1,776 jelly beans in the jar, so that was pretty good. The guess when I went around the room, that was 850 jelly beans. And I explained to them that the stock market's actually the second guess. Okay, because everyone knows what they just read in the paper, what the guy next to them said, what they saw in the news, and are influenced by everything around them. And that was the second guess, and that's the stock market. The cold calculating guess, when they were counting rows and trying to figure out what was going on, that's actually was the better guess. That's not the stock market, but that's where I see our opportunity.